Okay. As a broker, I expect you guys to know something. And so every morning I try to know something. I just look up information. And so I literally look up how many listings do we have, how many under contract, and how many sold in the last 30. One thing you notice, the top number there is the 11,282. That's how many total listings are on the MLS right now. This is not pretty. This isn't very fun to show your clients, but this helps me to know stuff. I've been doing this since 2012. And so this is just Utah County, what's happening. Yesterday, we had 11,327. Some fell off the market, so they went under contract. And if you look from 717 in Utah County to 733 sold, there were a lot that were recorded yesterday on the MLS. But Dean, how do I make it pretty? Oh, come on. But this is to help make it pretty. You can actually pull this up. This is just using rapid stats on the MLS, and it just shows March's numbers. But something that's fun to look at, if you look, listings are up 55.9% year over year. Sold listings are up 11%. There's a gap. What you'll notice is right now, buyers are gold. If you have a buyer, so find buyers out there, guys. Buyers are sometimes easier to find and work with. But if you do that, right now there's enough inventory. This is not 2021 where this thing goes under contract, in 3 hours and you're done. So you're going to take listings. You might sell 2/3 of the listings that you take. So we're getting to that point where listings aren't selling as fast, even though we have 3 months of inventory, in the county. What we're finding is they're not selling as fast. It shows here 30 days, the bottom number in pink there, 30 days, median days on market. The average days on market is 62. And so what it says is, yeah, there's as many above 30 as there are below 30. But we'll find what's really odd too, high-end homes are selling faster than median priced, middle priced homes. It's just the way it is. There's more out there. So anyway, have fun with stats, make them pretty for your clients. Rapid Stats will actually create these reports that make them pretty for you to be able to share on social media and all that. So have fun, and we'll turn it over to Shoni.
So I have the privilege of introducing our keynote speaker today. Sean Knudsen is a 23-year Army veteran, former federal SWAT commander, and successful entrepreneur who built multiple 7-figure businesses from the ground up. With a passion for leadership and human connection, he now helps entrepreneurs and teams unlock their purpose, align their mission, and build high-performing environments. Known for his powerful storytelling and real-world strategies, Sean delivers unforgettable talks that blend humor, heart, and hard-earned wisdom. For us, he's called Sean, but in the military, his nickname is Bulldog. His colleagues said that when it was Sean's turn to stand guard or watch in the Middle East, they knew who he was simply because of his unique stance. And they gave him that name, Bulldog. So when we welcome him up here, you'll notice his unique style. He's tough and he's a protector, but he's also gentle and kind, and he has the most contagious laugh. Please welcome Sean Bulldog Knudsen.
Thank you, Courtney.
Down.
Okay. I did not tell you that part of my bio, so I'm impressed that you got that. Who wants to sell houses? Raise your hand. Some of those houses that were up, if I was interested, who would I talk to? One person put their hand up. You're it. All right, the rest of you apparently don't want to sell houses. I did some research. Oops. Down? What am I doing? Oh, down or there, okay. Okay, you are 100 deals away from $1 million. Let me say that again for those of you in the back. You are 100 deals away from $1 million statistically. Who has heard of the 80-20 theory? There's quite a few of you. Basically, that says 20% of the output gets 80% of the results. What that looks like for industries is that 20% of the businesses get 80% of the money. What does that look like for realtors? It's actually a lot crazier. So in real estate, actually 10% of realtors do 90% of the business. What's that? Okay. So medium income for realtors, 50,000. Good. The top 10%, 500K or more, with several into the millions of dollars in income. Go ahead, next. Over 50% of agents make less than 30K a year, with some making less than 10,000 a year. As I was doing these slides, my assistant, she called me up and said, "Hey, these are kind of depressing. Do you think you should be, I thought this was going to be inspiring." So who is inspired by this? Those are the 10% right there. All right, so it's called the Pareto theory. Go ahead and click the next slide. So this is all from the National Realtors Association, or National Association of Realtors. So go ahead and click to the next couple. So the top 1 to 5% in real estate dominate 70% of the market, with many agents closing few to no deals. Go ahead and click the next one. So this is my experience. So the average dog trainer makes 25 to 83,000. When I came back from Iraq, I got into dog training as a way to help with my mental health. I started a dog training business with a partner. We got to where we were paying ourselves 150K each of us. After our expenses, we were making 1.2 to 1.4 million in profit. And look at most dog trainers, 25 to 83K a year. That's according to Dogster.com. That is a huge difference. We were taking the entire market share in our area. Most dog trainers, it was a side business. When I would tell people that I trained dogs, they would look at me like, "You train, like you're a dog trainer," thinking that I'm making the 25 to 83K a year. And I wasn't working. We had 8 employees that did everything. We would travel, I would show up to make sure that everything's going well. But that's a huge disparity. What makes the difference? There's 2 things: mindset and strategy. Today, my intention is to share with you this warrior mindset, okay? The first thing is to control your emotions, to quiet your mind. The second thing is to have a clear objective, a vision and purpose. Number 3 is commitment. And I like to say burning the bridges. And number 4 is having fun. You've heard of being in a state of flow or in the zone. That is really having fun. Okay, next. We're not going to talk about strategy, but if you're interested in some, this is my book. There's also on the paper in front of you, you can click on that. You can get the book. It's the biggest mistakes that I see entrepreneurs make. It's not a how-to, it just goes over those biggest mistakes. Go ahead and next slide. All right, we're going to talk about controlling your emotions. Go ahead and click, you just click through these. So with my experience as a veteran and a former federal SWAT team commander, about 15 years ago, I was standing up against a schoolhouse wall. So it was a brick wall. Sun was beating down on me. The sweat was trickling out from under my helmet. I was checking my gear one last time. Rifle looked good. I had my grenades, my body armor, everything. I was ready to go. Then I felt a squeeze. The guy behind me squeezed my arm to let me know that they're ready to go. Everyone behind me is ready. It's now on me. And I was forward security. So I look over at the breacher and he's standing right by me. We're about 10 feet from the door. And in this moment, right before we execute this mission, I have to control my mind. My breathing actually, right before we go, like when I feel that pinch, my breathing slows down. My heart rate slows down. Like I look over, I give him a nod, he gives me a nod, and then he pushes the button. We had a shape charge on the door. So the door explodes. I have my mouth open so the concussion doesn't affect me as badly. So I'm like this. And as soon as that explosion goes, that's my cue to go. Who in here likes to play golf? Who has played golf? All right, looks like everybody has. So imagine this. You are on the golf course and you're about to putt. You have to go through this doorway and there's going to be a huge explosion. You're going to run through smoke and debris, and you have to run about 25 yards, go to the ball, and you have 1 second to putt. And if you miss the hole, the ball's going to kill you. That's kind of how this situation was. So my buddy Ben, he was in the Special Forces, right? When you shoot, how important is it to be calm and quiet? So if you go through that door, this is what can happen. There's all the smoke and the debris, and it's pretty badass. You're like thinking to yourself, this is so effing awesome. You go through it and you're like, yeah! And if you get too excited, you're gonna like, oh, and you're shooting and you're not hitting because you're so excited. Or you might be terrified. And so you're like, and so you might not shoot, or you might shoot too early because you're terrified. Either way, it doesn't matter. You have to control your breathing. You have to stay calm. Michael Douglas, who wrote the book Trading in the Zone, he said the #1 difference between traders that make millions and those that lose everything is their mindset. And he talked about that moment that you're doing a trade, whether it's 25,000 or 25 million. When you go to hit that button, your breathing should be calm. You should be relaxed. And it doesn't matter what happens. You've done everything to prepare. You've done the research. And you're going to trust that whatever happens, happens, and that's okay. It's just data. You're going to make a better decision. If you push that button and all of a sudden your trade does really good, you're likely to make bad decisions in the future because you're going to be so excited. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. If it goes badly and you don't control your mind and your emotions, you're going to make bad decisions because you're going to miss opportunities. So think about this in your sales. When you close a deal, when you go to talk to somebody, is your heart racing? Are you nervous? Are you thinking, please buy the house? Or are you able to stay relaxed and calm? Like it doesn't matter. And you're able to just operate. Your mind is thinking quickly. Your body, you're in that zone. You're relaxed. So think about that when you are closing deals. Once I went through this smoke and the debris, by this time in my career, I was relaxed enough that my breathing was smooth. I was just a cool cucumber. Went in there, we start clearing all the rooms. Everybody's yelling, room clear, short room, letting everybody know where they're at. We get to this opening, it's a courtyard. And as soon as, and I'm forward security, so I'm the first guy. I walk, and all of a sudden, I felt 2 bullets come past me. They went right here, so close I could feel them. And it was like time slowed down. Like everything just went into slow motion. And my heart didn't start racing. My mind didn't overthink. I turned and I saw a girl, blonde girl in a ponytail. She was behind this couch, head peeking over, and she had just shot. And instantly, just as relaxed as could be, I put 2 bullets right between her eyes. Just instant, didn't even think. Had I not controlled my emotions, there's no way that I could have made that shot. So in your life and in your business, think about How can you control your mind and your emotions? Do you have a mindfulness practice? Do you do some meditation, breath work, play golf, go shoot guns? Whatever that is for you, have a practice so that you can operate at that highest level with your mind and your emotions. The second, go ahead and go to the next one. The second principle is having a clear objective. When we go to that schoolhouse, when we went to that schoolhouse, we weren't like, hey, let's go search it. Let's go see what we can find. Let's go, whatever. We were going in there for two things. We were going to kill every person that attacked us, and we were going to capture everyone else. We didn't know who the good guys or the bad guys were, so every person we came across, they were going to be cuffed, and then we stuffed them outside so that our apprehension team could pick them up. That was it. There was no question about what we were going to do. It was very clear. In your business, what do you want to do? How many homes are you going to sell this year? Are you just going to be a realtor? Are you just going to sell homes? My invitation to you is to get clear. Do you want to be part of that 10%? Make a decision. How many homes am I going to sell this year? Write that down. Put it somewhere you can see it. Come up with a plan and sell that many homes. Who in here has sold a house before? Most of the room has sold a house. If you have sold one house, you can sell 100 houses. It's coming up with the mindset and the strategy to duplicate that. So get very clear about that. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. All right, have you made a decision? Right, we can go to the next one. All right, commitment is my favorite one. When I talk to new clients, the most important question is, what is your level of commitment? And I usually give them a 1 to 10, 10 being the most committed. Everything can be overcome with commitment. I used to get in a lot of fights when I was younger. Grew up in a very violent childhood, nothing to do with this, but I used to get in a lot of fights with big guys. And I did really well because I was very committed. I didn't care I was ready to fight to the death. I didn't care if it was me or them that died. But because of that commitment, I did really well in fights. This helped me out in the military, and some of these engagements where we're having these operations. I have always been very committed. What is your level of commitment? I want to share something with you. In this, as we were clearing this house, the school, I went into this room, and there was one of the bad guys was in there. He ran out of ammo. So me and my buddy ran in to go clear the room. He jumped back in this storage closet, and there wasn't much room. And so I go in there. He dropped his gun because he's out of ammo, and he starts walking towards me. My buddy can't get around me, and because of the rules of engagement for this operation, I couldn't just kill him. Depending on other missions, you can. But in this particular one, because he wasn't armed, I was not authorized to kill him. So I had to go hands-on. One of the things that I do for the military, was a hand-to-hand combat instructor. So I love to get down to the hands. And so he dropped it, and he just started walking towards me. And so I, dropped my weapon and said, let's fucking go. And so I went, and we just hit each other, and I grabbed his leg, so a double leg takedown, and I smash him down to the ground, and I jump onto it, give him a few hits to calm him down. Then my buddy gets on him. Is it being recorded? Is that just kidding. This was military. It's fine. Doesn't count. But but it's the commitment. Like this guy, Tim, go ahead and stand up. So this guy was about Tim's height. So I'm not a fighter. Yeah. Thanks. But in that moment, I was 100% committed that he was not going to get past me. I was going to take him down. I was going to get him in cuffs. In your business, what is your level of commitment? The reason I ask that question to my clients is that the things that I'm going to ask them do are not the easy things to do. They're going to be the things that scare them. In the book that I shared with you, one of the big things I see is that entrepreneurs, we find ways to stay busy all day. And we avoid those things that are scaring us. That one phone call, that one meeting, or doing that thing that you know you should do, but you're afraid to do it. So we find ways to stay busy. I help my clients to figure out what are those things, those critical drivers that are going to really push your business to the next level. And how do you get that commitment to go do it? Think about your business. What's something that you know you should be doing this week that you're avoiding? What I tell my clients, put it on the schedule. If it's a phone call, don't think about what you're going to say. You know how to talk. Everyone in this room knows how to talk, and you know how to talk about your subject, your business. So I encourage them to put in their calendar at 10:15, I'm going to pick up my phone and dial this number. That's it. Don't think about the conversation. Don't think about how important it is. Just pick up the phone and dial. That's the action that you're going to take. Okay, go ahead and go to the next one. If you knew that your business was going to make you $1 million in profit this year, how much attention would you give to it? How committed would you be? How focused would you be on your business? So if you think about working with the end in mind, if you think about that $1 million, that is my goal, $1 million, 100 houses sold. Begin with that end in mind and backwards plan. So when we prepared for this mission to go into the schoolhouse, we always backwards plan. We're going to execute at this time. That's our plan, and that can change. But then, okay, what from now till then, what needs to happen to be ready to execute? So to sell 100 homes, what needs to happen? What's the mindset? What's the strategies? Figure that out. Figure out exactly what you wanted to do, what you want to do, and what your level of commitment is. Okay, go ahead, next slide. All right, last thing, have fun. Fun is, it's passion. Do you love what you do? Why did you get into what you do? I see this all the time and I've done this myself, where I started a job that I loved it. Then I turned it into a business, and all of a sudden, that dog training business, when I first started training dogs, I loved it. By the time I got to the point that we were making all that money, I was so tired of dog training. I was like, if I have to go pick up dog shit one more time. And yet, I used to joke with my kids when I'd walk in and it smells like, dog crap, like, smells like money. But yet, I didn't want to go pick up the dog crap. I didn't want to go train the dogs because I was losing that passion. So if you are in that place, what is causing that? What's going on in your life? Sometimes it's that maybe you don't need to quit. Maybe you need to pivot. Maybe there's something in your life that is holding you back, that's blocking you from having that passion that you used to have or that you want to have. There's a paper in front of you. If you find yourself in that situation, I am offering, I think we have 10 slots in the next 2 weeks. 10 people can do a free session with me, and we talk specifically about your vision and purpose and your passion, and find out where you are now, where you want to go, and what your next step is to get there. If you're interested, fill it out. You can give it to us or leave it on the table. We will pick it up. If you read about the zone, people talk about being in the zone. People talk about being in flow. you look at all the characteristics, there's books that have been written about it. And if you look at all those characteristics, they're pretty much all covered by having fun. If you are having fun, you are in flow. One of the coaches I worked with, he worked with NBA, NFL, all these super athletes. He's worked with presidents, but it was interesting talking to him. He would work with these NBA players. And he says, we think they have it all. He's like, they're making millions of dollars playing a game. Like, how much better can life be? And he actually said, you'd be surprised. It's kind of like I talked about, something that you used to love, now the passion of it is gone. And he said, they get so stressed if they start doing poorly in a game. They're like, oh no, they're going to cut me. They're not going to re-sign me next year. What am I going to do? My life is over. And he talks to him and he says, hey, first of all, you live in a $20 million home. You have a beautiful life, great kids. Your life is not over. But to them, they feel like their life is. And this is what he does with every one of them. This guy, he's insane. He gets hired by, like, he'll get hired by the NFL, an NFL team to go to the Super Bowl. They'll pay him $250,000 to watch the game in case they need him to come down for the halftime and talk to the team before they go out. If they're losing, they may call him and say, hey, we need you to get down here. And he takes them through a meditation. Like these, he said specifically with these basketball players, he has them quiet their mind, remember when they were kids playing out in the street, and they had the hoop with no net, and they were just having fun. So he takes them back to this moment when nothing else mattered, nothing else existed except the love of the game. And then he brings that back to them so they go out and play like they're playing basketball and having fun. Now, this girl that I told you about, this exercise in the schoolhouse, fortunately, this was a training exercise. It was not a real scenario. The girl that I shot, she thought that, she's like, oh, I got these guys. I'm in a perfect position. She was actually the secretary. It was actually a bunch of special forces guys that we were fighting. And they asked her, hey, do you want to do this? She said, yeah, I'd love to. So she thought, oh, I'm in a perfect position. She was shocked at the overwhelming response. And there was 2 marks right over her eyes on her face mask. And she just sat down and was like, whoa, I couldn't believe it. But the reality is she had no chance. And the reason is she was not going up against 9 men. Even though we had trained for this, she was going against 9 boys that grew up playing with sticks and watching G.I. Joe and Rambo and dreaming of becoming warriors. And this moment, everything we had ever done in our life led to this moment where we were able to go in and do what we'd always dreamed of doing. What are you dreaming of doing in your business with your life? Think about these principles and remember, you are 100 deals away from $1 million. That's 8.3 houses a month. Thank you.
Sean, thank you so much. We appreciate that. And perspective is so key. I think that there's always 1 or 2 really big nuggets that come out of these kind of conversations. And my encouragement is to ensure that you come out with some action items. What's the 1 or 2 things that you know you need to do this week, or at least in the next 7 days, to take action on everything that we just heard? So phenomenal perspective. I appreciate that so much. Next Tuesday, is Becca in the house? Okay. Next week, we've got a conversation with Becca Summers. So make sure to be here at 11 a.m. and it's going to be a fun conversation. We're going to get into some specific strategies on how do you build a referral and repeat business. And she's going to kind of pull back the curtains on how she's built her business over the last 7 to 10 years. And we're going to come out with some really actionable strategies for your real estate career. So we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Thanks.